guys, and welcome to my channel. Becoming a survivor of narcissistic abuse is not a coincidence. It really is not a coincidence. That person has intentionally chosen to do the work. They have intentionally made certain types of decisions. So in this video, I'm going to give you the 4 questions that you're going to have to decide when you are embarking on or even considering to go narc free or be narcissistic abuse free, or even if we took this out of the scope of narcissistic abuse, you want to be out of a toxic relationship. There are 4 questions that you're going to have to face to tell you how successful you're going to be in or on that journey. Okay, so the first question is it going to be you or them? Who are you choosing? Who are you going to be choosing? Are you going to choose yourself now? Are you going to continue to choose them? Because we know in narcissistic abuse relationships that people are often operating out of codependency. And this is where we put relationships on a throne at a detriment of ourselves. All right, we become sacrificial lambs. We're overgiving. We have our boundaries and standards are non-existent, is whatever they say, because we want the title of the relationship. We want the false safety net of being attached to this other person because we're filling voids with them. So when you finally decide you want a healthy relationship and you want to cause that shift, you're going to have to ask your question now. Is it going to be them or is it going to be you? Who are you going to start choosing now? And obviously, you have to start choosing yourself. All right, that's question 1. And number 2, now that we've chosen ourselves, are we going to choose our lower self? Or are we going to be choosing our higher self? All right, our lower self is, low vibrational. It's full of our shadow sides, right? And our higher self wants the best for us. Our lower self, not so much. Our lower self, is still engulfed in our ignorance. Or our higher self is evolved and illuminated. So once you've chosen yourself, now what part of yourself are you going to deal with? Your lower self or your higher self? Obviously, if you're choosing your lower self, if you've chosen yourself, but you're still in your lower self, you're highly susceptible to end right back in that cycle. Even if it's with a new person that has similar traits and behaviors, okay? You will still end up back there. You need to now tap into your higher self and nourish your higher self and, let that person out, okay? So that's number 2, you guys. Number 3, now this is a big one here. This is going to make or break you. Now that you have chosen yourself and now that you are going to choose your higher self, which means, you know what, I'm denying my flesh. I'm not going against my spirit and my soul. I'm not going to allow my flesh to be louder, okay? Because it only cares about instant gratification. It's not thinking about the big picture. All right, so now that I'm with my higher self, am I going to be willing to endure the purge or the growing pains that are inevitably going to be a part of that shift and that change? Because think about it. If I was low vibrational, I was in my lower self for all that time, and that allowed me to stay in that toxic relationship. And I created some heavy patterns while I was in my low self. Now, all of a sudden, I'm saying no to my lower self and I'm intercepting my lower self in those toxic patterns. It's going to be kicking and screaming. It's going to be like, oh no, whew. I want to respark that soul tie. I missed that part, fleshful. It's going to want to continue the status quo there. So you're going to be able to feel the purge and the burn of your higher self denying your lower self. Okay? So that's what you're going to feel. And oftentimes, survivors, this is the part that can get them back into the cycle of abuse, because it gets very hot in the kitchen at that point, because we had an addiction. And when you're breaking in any kind of addiction, you're going to go through withdrawal. And if you've ever, and some of you may not have, but if you've ever noticed people who may be addicted to cocaine or crack, and they were doing it for quite some time, and suddenly they can't have it, they're shivering, they're foaming at the mouth, like it's really a purge, and it's a cleanse that's going on. And, it may not feel very pretty at first, but let's just even take, figuratively speaking, like when we're birthing a baby, there's a beautiful baby that's coming out of you, but you went through those labor pains, you had to feel those contractions, and then at the end, you had to actually push that baby out. Woo! You endured a lot to get to that beautiful baby, but it was a process. So, this is a purge, and your body was, releasing that baby out of you. So are you willing to feel that burn? It's going to feel uncomfortable because, as we're fleshful humans, we're very fleshful and here in a 3-dimensional, okay? And we're creatures of habit. We don't like to change oftentimes. So if we've been doing something the wrong way for a long time, we've just been doing anything for a long time, it's hard to change, even if it's wrong for us. So this is where, that dysfunction is somewhat of a comfort to us. But it's familiar energy, and we're challenging ourselves now to be in our higher self, right? But we are going to have to go through the growing pains and the purge as a result. All right? And that's not going to feel good all the time. You might be crying 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You might end up having anxiety or panic attacks. You're going to have some really crappy moments. But as you progress, they'll become shorter and far in between. And eventually you will be cried out. And, things will be very minimized. All right, but you have to be able to hang in there and endure the purge and feel the burn. All right, because it's going to come. It's going to come. Now that we've chosen us instead of them, and we've decided that we want to deal with our higher self rather than our lower self, and we are committed to pushing through the growing pains and the purge that's going to have to happen as we cleanse and shed the old skin, if you will. Now, number 4, we're going to have to decide, do we want better than or less than in life? Better than or less than in life? All right, so when we want better than, this is going to actually be connected to our belief, our hope, and our confidence, which can be shattered after narcissistic abuse or toxic relationship, or manipulative people that want to keep you broken down so that you'll be in a weakened state for them and their selfish purposes. But that's going to be one of the questions. Do you want better than or less than? Okay. And life is to be lived and lived abundantly, right? So we want better than. We want better than. Life is more and better than just being abused. All right. Take your lessons and keep it moving. All right. Because we accepted less than. We have to get real about that. We were accepting less than. But no more. No more. We can choose, you guys. We can make the choice. So those are the 4 questions when we're being intentional, when we're being strategic, when we're being planned. It's not miraculous when someone ends up, in the sweet spot, when they're happy, when they're healed. That's not miraculous. They did the work. They were willing to face themselves, and they were choosing the higher self. First of all, they chose themselves. They chose their higher self. They chose to endure the growing pains, and They chose that they want it better than. All right, you guys. So if you're at a crossroads or you feel stuck, you're going to have to make some decisions. You have some very important decisions. But the more that we're in our self-love, the easier questions like this could be. And then it doesn't even become a question. It's automatic. Of course I chose myself. Of course I want to be in my higher self. Okay? Of course, I'm going to do what I have to do to reprogram myself. Of course I want better then. All right, you guys? So answer those questions for yourself and then allow your behaviors to be in alignment as you plant those seeds into your consciousness. And you push the seed further down into your subconsciousness. You're basically watering it with your behaviors and your actions. And you'll have your harvest. And everything will get into an alignment with that. Because not only are you speaking it, you're behaving it, you're in alignment. You're in alignment. All right. So I hope that this is helping someone. Like, where do I start? What should I be considering here? These are the things that you're going to have to consider. All right. So hit that like button, of course, if this video has resonated with you. Feel free to subscribe to my channel here. Almost 700 videos to help you here with your emotional maturity. I do private coaching, you guys. If you are stuck in a healing process, if you are confused at what's going on, you need help with some closure, some understanding, and I'm just a general life coach as well, so I help people in all other areas of life. Feel free to visit my website, lakiacrawford.com, to schedule your appointment. I do voice calls, I do FaceTimes, I do email coaching. There's all types of packages that you could take advantage of. I've written 4 therapeutic books, you guys. Feel free to check those out on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles. The links are below. You can get the ebook or the hard copy. If you want a signed copy, you can get that off of my website, lakiacrawford.com. I have 2 support groups, you guys, over on Facebook. One is private and one is public. Those links are below as well. All right, you guys. Just choose you. Choose you and don't lose your hope and your faith that things can be better for you. All right, that's very important because so many survivors, they get hopeless because they feel so drained and depleted by the time that they're through with that toxic relationship, because oftentimes they've stayed in it way longer than they should have. All right. With that being said, never give up on yourself. Continue to do the work. And until next time, please take care.